Oh, brother, do we got a fun confrontation about our car? It could be simple. It could be simple. Might not be too much going on in it, but at the same time, it could be a really key and crucial moment for Chinatsu to understand, competition is out there. Aggressive competition at that. Let me not back down. Also, to understanding potentially somebody else's feelings a little bit. And actually didn't even think about it, but it could be a way for maybe her to feel like she needs to back down because there is somebody who is so willing out there. So we're in a intriguing spot for what is to actually occur here. Taiki and Chinatsu growing a lot closer too through the removal of her from his household. I made that sound a little weirder than it was, but through them not living together for this short period of time is going to allow for a lot more wanting to be around each other, which also is for an interesting thing. And we got this play kind of blooming in the background. So whatever they're going to actually do to get this together and whatever relevance and stuff it's going to have on the actual story, if anything, it might not be that important throughout it. And we might not get like a whole, theatrical performance here. It could just be something simple that they're doing in the background to give us things to do besides practicing throughout the year, which would make plenty of sense too. We got a little bit to keep our eyes on here, so I'm very excited. I hope you guys are as well. If you like it all, like and subscribe. Then feel free to stick around for the discussion. Let me comments for this other series. Let's get going with episode 17. I know. I'll be the alpha here. Be the alpha. Overheard it. Ah.
ほら、同居してる千夏先輩には話しておいた方がいいかなって。とはいえ、気を使ってほしいとかは全然。それなら一時的に今は別のところに住んでるんだ。
You're what?
私のおじいちゃんが手術することになってね。そのためにお母さんが一時帰国して。
Okay, didn't have to drop all that on her.
1ヶ月の間だけだけど。
No, I feel bad.
そうだったんですね。おじいさんの手術、無事成功するといいですね。私、先に別の用事済ませてくるので、コピー機ごゆっくり。それじゃまた。
めっちゃ上手くなってるじゃん。いい感じに力抜けてて、今までより伸び伸びしてるよ。
Yeah, there's nothing like right in front of you, so it's a little easier.
そうかな。自分的には全然。確かに前より点は取れるようになったし、動きも良くなってる気はする。だけど、なんだろうこの。
Just your mind's not fully in it.
相手は佐治川さんだ。
So there's gonna be somebody else because it'll allow us to set up different rivals to potentially face, but
これか。
マジやった。
でも兵道さんいないしな。
we have a chance.
抜けたとはいえ、そうは熱い。来年のインターハイも佐治川さんに勝たないと出場できないと思え。
That's good. That's the exact school you want to go against here.
あの1年と戦ってみたかったんだよね。ゆうさくん？そう。あの冬場はタートルネック着てますみたいな顔の。
どんな
What
顔
is
だよ。
what is that supposed to mean?
何緊張してんだよ。
大輝聞いたよ。土曜
She's so
日練習
focused.
試合だって。
走るか台本読むか話すかのどれかにしろよ。
この方が効率いいですよ。
I'll just do all
運
three.
動しながらの方が暗記にはいいって聞くし。
キヨ。
Is that true? That might be.
劇の練習で学校来るし、その時間だけ応援来てあげるよ。
Thank
いい
you.
よ。
I mean, it's
ただ
fine.
の練習試合だし。
でも重要な相手なんでしょ。
そうだけど。
前に大輝が負けた相手だって。
そういや、ひな見に来てたんだ。
I forgot she was here for that one.
広い声援が必要でしょ。
黄色い声援。
それに好きな人の頑張ってる姿が。
いきなり何言って。
急に振り返らないでよ。前見て走らないと事故るでしょ。
It's embarrassing enough to say that.
いたいた。いたったって。
Can't wait for her and Chiratsu to both show up and just be cheering them on together.
おはようございます。
おはよう。気合。
Sweating before anyone's even there. Ask her to come watch. That'd be weird, but still do it.
火曜日だっけ？午前練だから終わったら見に行くね。
そんなわざわざ見に来てもらうものじゃ。
でも面白そうだし。
公式戦っていうわけでもないですし、見ても仕方がないと言いますか。
いや、見たいでしょ。好きな人の頑張ってる姿は見たいもん。
Could she mean it the same way?
ヒナがあんなこと言うから、俺には止める権利もないので。
見に行く。朝練仲間の勇姿は見届けないと。
Buddy. Chill on that.
大輝、何食ったんだよ。またうまくなってんじゃん。何も食べてないよ。
Kind of pissing me off.
まだまだ課題はたくさんあるし。
ジカのユサ君、日本ラスターの選手に勝ったって。
He what?
相手プロじゃねえか。まだ一
Oh, brother. We only got 2 spots, too. Bro's like a lock.
谷川、もう一試合しようぜ。また
No, I don't want to get beat like that again.
ぜひ部長の俺と試合を。
逃げようとするな。負けたらプランク5分だろ。
けど勝ちが続いている彼の鼻を折ること。
Someone's gotta take him down a notch.
サジカーの1年に勝ちたくて自分の中でハードル上がってんだろ。
Might not be able to feel good unless that happens.
努力なんてしんどかろうに。
そういうならアドバイスしてやれよ。
Why didn't tell him that?
俺だって来年のインターハイ2枠争ってるんだ。後輩にはしんどい。
Right, it can only help him so much.
大人げね
ヒナ、何か手伝おうか。
Oh.
死んで
ないわ。
練習付き合ってやるよ。相手がいた方がイメージしやすいだろ。
そうだけど。
Oh,
死ねえよ。
分かってるわよ。
but you could.
それで何がわからないんだよ。
I didn't even read through.
死の淵から蘇る時の表情って何？
Right, right, yeah.
それは確かに。しかも女王に騙されて毒リンゴを食べさせられ
Right, right, like there's so many conflicting emotions going on.
だろう。
私が一番美しいのよ。
Oh.
女王を許すまじ。そなたの首いただくぞ。刀を持て。
殺意が高すぎる。
Ooh, it feels fitting
わか
though.
った。目覚めたら王子がいたんだからときめいて。
Yeah, just do it. Just do it.
警戒心も強い。
分かってる。これじゃダメだってことは。
Too much brain power.
ヒナってやっぱりすごいよな。そんなに考えなくてもできちゃうことなのに。そこまで真剣に悩んでさ。台本もいつも持ち歩いて読み込んでるし。俺なら単純に嬉しい顔しちゃう。
引き受けたことは全力でやりたいもん。
Mm.
大輝だってそうでしょ？
え、
教室で劇のことやってると思ったら、次の瞬間には体育
Yep.
館で部活してるんだもん。
So much stuff. Allocating so much time to so many different things.
白雪姫、どうか目を覚ましてくれ。はい。キスされました。ヒナ？そういう演技？
You actually gotta do it.
大輝と本当にしたとこ、
Mm.
想像しちゃったじゃん。
はあ！
本当にする？
しないよ。
分かってるよ。するって言われた方がドン引きだわ。けどドキドキはしたでしょ。
Glad it did.
これもひな様の戦略なんだからじゃあみんなの様子でも見てこよっかな。
Got yours doing it too, huh? This fucking girl. She said she's gonna always make you remember, brother. Guess it'll come down to the day of the game and how that, how it makes you feel when you see each of them in the crowd.
ゲームセット。なんでだ。
Damn, you got washed.
他の人には勝てるのに前より点差開いてる。
自信のないやつの羽は俺には効かんぞ。たく。
はい。別に自信がないわけじゃ。
But you don't, brother.
さすが長のさ。
2D でカレーの試食。
Nobody told me? No.
俺カレー嫌い。
そんな人類いんの？カレー、カレー、食べるぞカレー、飲めるぞカレー。
とストイックだよな。
そんなことないよ。
毎朝朝一に来て練習してる
No,
時点
no,
で
no. There's
スト
somebody
イッ
else.
クなんだよ。
それなら私以外にもバド部の猪俣くんが早くからいるよ。
大輝はストイックというより真面目なんだよな。
フランクフルトもあるらしい。
Oh my god, dude. I got everything.
どう違うの？
地位は S で、あいつは M だ。勝ちたいやつがいて、そいつを目標にすると、できないことばっかに目がいって、自分を褒められなくなったりするだろ。そんな水なしで砂漠を進むみたいなことしなくていいのに。真面目に課題に向かいすぎるがゆえに水分補給を忘れてんだよな。
そのくらい早く前に進みたいって気持ちはわかるよ。ちゃんと水分補給してても諦めちゃう人だっている。
Yeah.
だけど諦めたくなかったら足を動かし続けるしかない。立ち止まるのが一番苦しいから。
Hmm.
ハリュウくん、そんなに心配してるなら水分を差し入れてあげればいいんじゃない？
Hmm.
それも先輩としての務めだよ。
俺が欲しいくらいなんだ。
what are you fucking doing? Ah. What a softie.
大輝、あのさ、
はい。
Who got the...
カレー食ってるんかい。
西田部長がくれて
Oh, what a
しか
guy.
もあいつかよ。
I mean,
いい部長ですよね。
as you're trying to do
お前と
something
練習し
sweet.
ようと思ったけど、今日誘うか。
待ってください。
Here, take this. Give him the water.
その水くれません？
No.
カレー辛くて
Not after what you just
い
did.
いじゃないですか。
Give it the kid.
不甲斐ないやつだ。ヒナの告白も返事はいらないって言われたらどう動けばいいのかわからなくて、部活も俺だけがうまく進めない。
すみません。
You wanna come practice?
体育館ってどっちですか？
Why are you here?
せめて
The internal struggles, the struggle to move forward, the struggle of decisions, and so much more comes really strong here. for Taiki, which is not a great thing for him to be in. He needs some clarity. He needs something to happen to progress him a little bit more. He needs to make some sort of decision and some sort of stance to really get him in the right headspace. He has a strong supporting cast of people, and even with the extra efforts in the things in which Haruo seems to, be nudged a little bit to potentially make towards the end, it's still can only go so far. It's one of those things where you can have all the perfect things around you, everybody can tell you all the right things, you can even tell yourself the right things, but till you actually go out and do it, till you make that decision on your own, till you do all these things, you're never going to kind of be freed up from it, and you're never going to be able to move forward. And Taiki finds himself in a rough spot, in a mess of a situation between having his heart in one place and having, his mind be consumed by something else entirely, in his relationships and romantic endeavors, when it comes to being flooded with nonstop thoughts from Hina that basically then get turned directly into thinking about Chinatsu, that then forcibly makes him realize, the route that he likely needs to go, but still struggles on potentially not wanting to miss that opportunity of just for letting that person down or breaking that person's heart by having to be transparent with them. That is causing this to be really hard, especially with her applying all the pressure that she is and constantly letting that float, in front of him. Is not a great thing for him to have to keep on his mind. Then on top of his own struggle to improve and get better with Batman, it's becoming a little bit of an issue. And he's in one of those weird states where it's like you crush and destroy everybody that you play who's under you, and even they keep complimenting you nonstop about how much you've improved and how much better you've gotten at it, right? But when you play somebody else, nothing's changed, and then you keep losing. And then it's like, how do you make that work in your mind? Do you chalk that up to the idea that they've improved as well? So even if you're just not improved at like a stronger rate. Do you chalk it up to maybe you haven't gotten better at all, and these people are just still kind of beneath you, and you've just learned their patterns and tendencies a little bit more, so it's a little easier for you, but you don't really think of it. You go kind of autopilot. It's the struggle where his heart's just kind of not at the same level that his mind is. Each of them have their own kind of goals and are focused on something else entirely and just captivated by something else that is making these things really difficult, which is why the potential match with Yuso showing up towards the end and practice match between the two of them here is going to be really telling. Likely, I'm assuming that we get one, will be very telling for where we're headed, I think, with him. It's something that a loss will completely destroy him, realize he's not getting any better, but a win could completely shatter and change that. A win doesn't seem likely, though, with his own issues and struggle, especially when it comes to Haruo. So he's going to find himself in a really rough spot. And I think like one of the first things I could say that would realistically clear this up is unfortunately having to, let Hina go at some point, having to clear your own feelings and thoughts up with her, and have to unfortunately put a halt to her efforts that she continues to make. It would be I think the first logical step in being able to have a sense of clarity, to then no longer be consumed by something else exterior that then limits you to only the Chinatsu stuff and focus only entirely on that. And then maybe you can utilize her as that sort of pillar for you to lean on at some point to allow you to mentally feel as though you can clear up with your own struggles that you're having. But maybe it's something else. Maybe it's entirely internal. It's something that I don't think I have a strong read or grasp with of where he's going to potentially go and the things that are really kind of clouding him here. I think I can see it. It's still one of those, I just don't know the direction that will be ultimately chosen here. His main struggle is just looking on the outside and seeing Chinatsu excel, seeing Hina excel, seeing Haruo excel, seeing all these people around him who he compares himself to be worse off than, that are the people that are this driving factor in making him want to improve and want to be better, and want to practice harder and harder. but then not seeing the actual numbers, not seeing the improvement. I'm continuing to beat the people I always have. I'm not beating the people that I haven't beaten before. I'm not seeing like the real improvement while everyone tells me my skills have gotten better, and I feel like they should. It just mentally something's not clicking with me. Something feels off. I feel like I have something that's weighing me down. It's not there. It's a fear that he has, the blockage of these people, of the things that kind of haunt him, of the other things and the exterior things now having to take on the leading role here in what's going on with the play and his whole class and everything. It's just a lot, I think, overall for him to take on. And I don't know what his approach would be. I'll be real. Like, I don't know exactly. Like I said, I think the Hina thing is on point for, we have to kind of move towards more of a decision there to give ourselves some clarity at some point. But I don't know how he personally gets over the hump on his own end. For everybody, it typically is something very different. And I feel based on the way that the show has kind of portrayed things to be up to this point, it might be through words of something or leaning on somebody like Chinatsu at some point to help him, maybe clear things out a little bit. But I don't feel like that would be the proper route either. And instead feel as though maybe we need to do something else, but I just don't know what exactly. I'm just at a loss, I think, for the overall direction of where to assume that we would head. This conversation was a lot more chill than I thought. I thought we were going to get something more out of it, but Chinatsu's like reluctance to really like speak on or talk about anything. She provides this whole backstory. So this look from Hina, I can't tell if this was just like holy fuck, I made like this assumption and said all this stuff when you have this whole other thing going on too. If it's like that, or if it's like oh my god, I can't believe it, like I have the opportunity to do something here because of the distance that has been kind of created between you. Well, we haven't built her up, and we've made it even known that she's not the type of person to pounce on or accept certain things like that. I would assume isn't the case, but I don't really know. Immediately wants to get up out of there though, and Chinatsu deep in thought. And I do wonder what she's thinking. Is it the I should have done this before you, I should have been the one who takes this route? Is it the I've already known that? But it's like, when you know something that nobody knows you know, and then they tell you, it's like almost expected that you operate or do something, you know, a little different now that you do know. So is it like a scenario that she's going to be struggling in here to figure out exactly how she wants to handle her next approach when it comes to Taiki and to that relationship, or whether it's going to be stepping aside and just assuming things are going to go well between the others, or just confronting more of her own feelings and being honest with herself. It could just be like a shit, like it hits me at that sort of moment, causing her to like go into really reflecting it, I guess would be my guess here. Why do I feel so anxious? Why am I the way that I am? It's gotta be him. Thinking back to the people that you can't beat, those that are stronger, those that are better than you, knowing that no matter how much effort and time and all the stuff that you've put into it, it hasn't amounted to the things that you've almost set that expectation for yourself with. You know, rehearsing and doing this. The scene's really cute. I like this a lot, of her being like, yeah, I'll come here and I'll see, what did she say exactly? See the guy I like putting in all his effort into something is really awesome. And her immediate reaction, we get some really strong stuff from Hina, at least like single shots of her, which are great. And I think this is super cute of her just running around chasing him after he turns around here. But it's like one of those things, because the moment we get the interaction between these two here, and she basically says the same thing, that she's going to end up coming, it's everything that he felt immediately in that moment directly from her saying it, it takes on a different tone, right? It's because she's the one that he wants his mind to go to, and he mentally knows that. So when she says that, she immediately is the first person that he thinks of what she actually said, and is projecting that almost onto Chinatsu of like, is this like, I wish it was coming from a place like this, or is this coming from a place like this? I don't know exactly how he's seeing it, but it almost makes you wish that was the case, as opposed to the person that actually says it, which is absolutely heartbreaking, of course, for all the Hina fans and Hina herself here. Not ideal, but it makes it very clear, continuous. You know, we get that a little later too with the scene and the practicing of the play, right? How he can feel one way, because of course he does. He's attracted to Hina. It's not a question about that. I mean, anybody would be, but it's just one of those scenarios that he's not like He doesn't have the feelings for her. He's not mentally captivated in the sort of way that he is with somebody like Chinatsu, which kind of forces him to not want to, you know, engage in or maybe feel the way that he should feel through the advances that somebody like Hina is actually making here, which is why it makes all of it hard, right? He continues to think about this. It's the constant like mind and heart like feeling very different things, right? Like your mind's telling you one thing, but your heart's like feeling something else entirely. It's like that, but Chinatsu kind of operates in both of the spaces where Hina only operates in one of them. So whenever she does something, while it hits him directly there, he can't help but reference and feel the idea of like wishing that it was coming from a place of somebody else, which really sucks. Not necessarily what you really want to end up hearing or seeing. Hina's just stuck in my own head, right? Your heart's not directly pulled to her, but your mind keeps telling you all these things. Practicing, you're getting so much better doing all this, but he can't believe it or can't feel any of it. Hearing these things, this guy's that good. He's playing with these people. He's beating these people. Oh my God, it motivates you to want to keep playing, and what motivates you to want to keep getting stronger, but mentally you can't kind of get over that hurdle. Raise the bar so much for yourself, then you don't feel like you're improving at all. Give him some advice. Nah, I'm good. Need to leave the spots for nationals open a little bit. So I'm practicing with Hina. I love this scene a lot. The prince, because I'm not doing it. I know. Get really good Hina reactions to everything too. He'd make a hell of a fucking evil one. Look at her. And her own struggle of like, how am I supposed to feel in a scenario that's like unimaginable, right? And Taiki can kind of relate to it or feel that in some sort of way. It's like, how are you supposed to play or act against somebody who's super good and you can potentially like mentally feel like you're going to beat when you've lost to them before and you haven't shown any signs to yourself of reaching the bar that you've kind of set for yourself? How can you hit that standard, right? Like, how can you just find that place to sit in and be like, yeah, this is where I need to kind of float around. This is what I need to be thinking and acting. And her own struggle to find like the facial reaction to kind of take on the role that she's doing here is his own struggle to like take on, how am I supposed to mentally like put myself in this spot when all I know is losing, when all I know is failure, when all I know is like not hitting that bar that I've set. So it sucks for him. It absolutely does. Because it's one of those slumps that he's going to get as much help as he can, but I really just think he has to break himself out of it in some sort of way. And I'm not exactly sure where all that comes from. Let's practice. I think that's really sweet that he is trying his hardest to help her out here. Why don't we just do it? You know? Why not? Do you want to try it? Nah. Got you thinking about it, but then it breaks your heart even more when she ends up saying something, because you think like, yeah, definitely trying that, but at the end of the day, it's still more of her kind of like shielding herself off, right? Feeling like she's doing something, feeling like she's progressing and moving forward and making those advances in the way she wants. Well, she is, for the most part. It's not actually amounting to anything at the end of the day, and she's just all but aware that that's actually happening, which just sucks even more for her. I think this is my favorite single shot of Hina throughout the entire show so far. Something about it just hit me like fucking crazy, because it makes me almost feel like that we're wrapping her up. Like we're getting towards that point, I think, with her. You can only go so big and say so many things and be rejected on them so many times before it gets to that point. And I feel like we're climaxed at some point here, so it hits a little sharper. She runs away. Brother's fucking destroyed by it. She's ruining him, and he gets washed completely by Haru. Not that I don't have confidence, but you look around to all the people standing proud, actively doing the things that you're setting yourself out to do, and you're incapable of doing so. The coward thing, maybe it's just the overall choice of the word that I'm not getting. But he continues to compare himself and state this, but I'm not feeling that entirely. Maybe it's more of like feeling that allowing yourself to be consumed through these sort of things and comparisons to others is that forcibly like makes you kind of like view yourself in this sort of light. But I'm not getting that part completely. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding what he's really trying to get at. Chinatsu talks a little bit about the struggle that he's going through, Taiki's going through a little bit too, and what you can kind of do, the similarities, but also straight difference between them. And does a good job, I think, kind of referring to it with him wandering aimlessly within this desert, feeling like there's a goal to get through, but not being able to see that vision all the way through, and forgetting to hydrate himself as he's kind of going along on the journey. Take that step back and reflect on the things, and be able to like fully allow yourself to be understanding of where you're at and why you're at, and reflect on that in a sort of meaningful way, and instead kind of just aimlessly like wandering on, believing that you're going to reach an end goal and a destination, but not knowing that you need to take like those little stops and go through those little hurdles and bumps along the way that you're going to get to. You're going to need to refuel on water and stuff along the way too. As your senior, why don't you help him out here? I thought she was going to take that route, but really sweet that he went out of his way to get it, but instead he got the curry from the Sheeta, so he ends up going and hanging out with Kyo, even though he asked for it. And look who decides to show up at the school. That could be extremely troubling for you, potentially. You're intrigued to see where we head with this, and what is going to come out of this going forward. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, like and subscribe to my feel free to check out the video channel and comments at the start of the series. I'll be back for episode 18 very soon. It was a great one. Peace.